Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the year where we do our top Zeta guide for Galaxy of Heroes. Ever since our last video where we did a top 30 Zeta list. By the way, thank you for all the likes and views you put on the video. There's been a lot of new stuff that's popping up in this list, and we're taking it to the next level. Instead of top 30, we're gonna be doing top 50, baby, because there are just too many Zetas to choose from. So I wanna make sure I give you as many as possible to consider. So without further ado, let's get into it. Start talking about this list. Let's talk about 30 through 21. I'm showing you what's popping up on the list, and we're gonna talk briefly about all of them. Maybe not in detail on every single one of them, because we got so much to cover today, people. And don't you worry, after we talk about these top 30, I'm gonna give you 20 honorable mentions. So that's how we're getting our top 50 list. So just hold on to your horses, people. And the first Zeta I want to talk about on this list, and I think it's kind of important, combat logic upgrade. This is what's making IG-88 and other droid leaders viable in Arena. They're popping up on the meta report. Who would have thought IG-88 leader HK-47 lead could have been in the meta report and be a counter to the top tier team in the game of the Sith Empire? This is where it's all the credit goes to combat logic upgrade. Without this ability, you could not get the amount of damage out of the droids. Seeing General Grievous do massive amounts on his AoE or his special ability, Skittering Horror, it's just a sight to behold, and it's all because of this. So if you have a bunch of mishmash droids that aren't maybe up to snuff, they aren't the greatest in the world, but you have a very good General Grievous, slapping on T3M4 Zeta gives you one of the best counters to a Darth Revan and Malik team that we have to this date. Another one I kind of want to talk about, this is actually what I'm considering doing right now because I have one Zeta saved up, Viceroy's Reach. I've shown so many weird compositions with new Gunray in Grand Arena, but I'm considering this because he constantly spams debuffs, and with the Zeta, whenever a Separatist is inflicting a debuff, he's removing 5% max health damage. So that is a lot. If you consider Separatists, they spam a lot of debuffs, shock, stuns, AoE, target locks, and buff immunity. If you place him in a General Grievous team, it gets even deadlier. If you don't have Droideka, Viceroy's Reach and new Gunray is an amazing spot to put new Gunray in a General Grievous team, and we see this become one of the most consistent teams I've seen in territories. A lot of guilds require Viceroy's Reach in the General Grievous lineup because it is very difficult, and the chances of someone clearing it with the first try, unless they're using like Darth Revan and Malik, the chances are going to be very, very low because of Viceroy's Reach inside of a Grievous team. We're not going to talk too much in depth on this one. Resistance are losing viability over time. They're having a rough time in PvP aspect type of things, but the reason why I'm bringing up Jedi Training Ray, Inspirational Presence, and Roll Up the Punches on BB-8 is because raids are an important aspect of the game, and Jedi Training Ray and BB-8, it's probably the best team for heroic Sith raid, heroic AAT raid, and you can get use out of it inside of the Rancor raid as well. So it's kind of one of your best bang for your buck raid teams. Not too much exciting going on for PvP type of things, but it could improve in the future with episode 9 coming on later on this fall. It's kind of it seems almost obvious at this point that they're going to be probably doing some resistance and first order love probably later this year, so keep your eyes peeled. But as of now, this is important to bring out because it's great for the raids. Genos and Brood Alpha, let's just put this out there really clearly. You don't really need any Zetas to make this team work. Even without Zetas, this is a fantastic team, and the great thing is Genosians, they don't need Zetas anywhere else, but you can put some on Genos and Brood Alpha. And if you want to put at least one Zeta on Queen's Will, it's the no-brainer Zeta. It's going to make this team even better because instead of having to wait to use your conscription ability to call in the Genos and Brutes in the 6th slot, this just kind of jumps the gun and it allows you to call in a Genos and Brute at the very beginning, and they taunt, so you're basically getting a pre-taunting character. So although you don't need Zetas to make Genosians great, this will just make them even better because now you're going to get a pre-taunting character at the very beginning. Genosians have been a fantastic addition to the game, and again, Genos' territory battles, this is very important, and it could be annoying for people that don't know how to deal with Genosians in Grand Arena. All right, let's show the list for number 20 through number 11, and here you're going to see mostly the same as before. Not much has changed in this space. The most that has changed really was that top 30 through 21, and as we're going to see the top 10 Zetas, you're going to see a lot of changes in those areas, but this middle of the rung list right here, it's kind of the same as before with a couple of new additions. So we're not going to talk too much about every single one of these because you've seen me talk about them in the past, but we'll talk more about the newer ones that showed up here. If you want to ask me what's the summary of the past 3 months since May, the biggest changes have been Separatist and Galactic Republic. So you're going to see a lot of these here, and Ahsoka Tano is an important one to kind of get the Padme Amidala team working with Daring Padawan because she's going to be constantly called to assist if there's a Galactic Republic leader, and as well as if the Galactic Republic character is using a special ability. And if you use her basic over and over again, she dispels, she cleanses. So this is kind of a way of passively cleansing as well as passively dispelling just by using special abilities. It's kind of like a Chewbacca mechanism where someone of guard is just going gonna keep calling Chewie to assist. She is basically the Chewbacca, sort of, for Galactic Republic, which is why Daring Padawan is going to be an important Zeta, and it also works great outside of PvP things. It looks like it's a pretty solid Zeta as well for various phases of the Sith raid. Now, really the only new Zeta that has shown up in here, because this did not exist back in May, is Anakin Skywalker Zeta on Righteous Fury. It's pretty much a must-have Zeta if we want to take on those Darth Revan and Darth Malik teams. I said this before in my Padme Amidala guide I put out the other day, but this is basically the counter to Darth Revan's Death Mark ability he applies, because someone falls below 50% health, Darth Revan applies Death Mark to the leadership. Anakin Skywalker, because of Righteous Fury, he's gonna gain 100%, he's gonna get his bonus turn, not even 100% turn meter. Then Padme, through Righteous Fury, gets her bonus turn, which allows her to drop off the Death Mark really quickly. So this allows Anakin and Padme to get work done, get more turns out there, as well as make sure you're shaking off as much Death Mark as possible. So this is gonna be an important Zeta right now to even try to counter Darth Revan and Darth Malik, and probably moving forward, it's going to be important. You're going to see basically all the staple Galactic Republic Zetas in this list. We saw Sorasu in the 30 through 21 spot. Anakin Skywalker is here, and there's going to be a lot more going forward. Now, the rest of these are pretty straightforward. We've talked about these many times in previous Zeta videos, but things like Emperor of the Galactic Empire, Palpatine, again, one of the best bang for your buck Zetas, which allows you to use leftover Empires characters as well as Empire Sith characters that aren't being needed for other teams out there. It's kind of a mishmash catch-all leadership, and you just get so much bang for your buck. Emperor Palpatine is one of the best counters to Padme Amidala. C-3PO messes that up a little bit, but still, Palpatine's very important. Compassion is weakness. As I said earlier, Darth Trey is losing some viability, but this is actually kind of important because this is one of the best counters to a Genosian lineup. Genosians are tough to deal with, but if you just put in Darth Treya with Darth Sign and a lot of crit avoidance and a lot of protection, Genosians will just kill themselves off, which is why Compassion's weakness is so important, even aside from Genosians and getting a lot of banners from fighting them. Just in general, she counters a lot of things because of her attacks out of turn, as well as buffs out of turn. Darth Treya, although losing viability over time, is still a very important character for a lot of those weird lineups you got to deal with out there. In this list as well, we're going to see a bunch of rebels hanging around here. We got Chewie, we got Commander Luke Skywalker, and we got Han Solo. Basically, the core trio needed to compose a very good team. CLS, in my opinion, is probably the 5th best team in Galaxy Heroes, and you're going to need Commander Luke Skywalker, Han Solo Shoot First, as well as Loyal Friend from Chewbacca at the very minimum to make it work. And of course, C-3PO makes it even better, but C-3PO is being borrowed by Padme Amidala quite a lot lately. And now we make it to the top 10 Zetas in Galaxy Heroes, and there has been a huge shakeup in this list since May. A lot has happened. Grievous 2.0 reworks, Galactic Republic getting Padme, and a lot of extra reworks and love, and then Separatists got a lot of love as well in the past few months. And of course, Darth Malik and Darth Revan has solidified their position in the top of the game. So you're gonna see a lot of new things in here. Let's talk about some of them. We have more to talk about here than the other sections. Jedi have been losing viability between Darth Revan and his buddy Darth Malik, just kind of whipping Jedi, as well as HK-47, I should say, and General Grievous in his second rework have been decimating Jedi. Jedi Knight Revan has a hard time dealing with Grievous nowadays, but still, Jedi Knight Revan is still going to be one of the most important teams, and the way they get the Jedi Knight Revan to work perfectly, in my opinion, you need to at least have that. Looks pretty bad because this was one of the most overpowered, annoying Zetas of all time. You also need at least General to get a Jedi Knight Revan team working. So at the minimum, General for Jedi Knight Revan, and that looks pretty bad for Jolie Bindo. Those are at least the core to getting a functioning Jedi Knight Revan team. Won't be the best out there, but at least it's going to get you just enough juice to take out a lot of great things in the game, and it's fantastic for territory wars, territory battles, as well as the raids. And pretty much from here on out, it's Sith Empire, Separatists, as well as Galactic Republic. So the first thing I want to talk about here is going to be Padme Amidala. So she's 2 of the Zetas on this list. I'm going to just talk about both of them right now. Unwavering courage and always a choice. As I said on my Padme guide, if you want to get Galactic Republic going, the best bang for your buck Zeta is going to be unwavering courage. This transforms a lot of garbage characters in the Galactic Republic to be pretty good. Heck, this Zeta makes it so that Comor's Chewbacca can actually be a useful character. Protection up, allows light side allies to resist all debuffs and can't be critically hit. Built-in tenacity, built-in crit immunity, and there's gonna be so much protection up flying around the field if you're using things like Kenobi or Ahsoka Tano or Anakin Skywalker or Padme Amidala, you're never gonna be really short of protection up. And then always a choice. This is what makes Kenobi Sorasu super annoying to deal with, because if someone attacks on a turn, aka B1 battle droid or something of that sort, you're gonna get undispellable, unpreventable protection up, which increases it to 40% if Padme is in the leader slot. So again, this allows Kenobi to take as many punches as possible while he's taunting for your team. And if you make a mistake, let's say you give Kenobi undispellable protection up, that means you can't get rid of his taunt, you can't critically hit him, you can't get buff meter him, so it looks like he's always taunting for the whole entire game. General Grievous, finally in the top 10 Zetas. He was barely in the top 30, and I got so much garbage. People like, oh, Grievous is garbage. Why are you even putting one Zeta? He was at like 29 in the last list, but because of his second rework, a lot of Separatist love, he has become one of the best characters in the game. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. He is, in my opinion, probably the third best team in Galaxy. You can debate between Padme Amidala and Grievous. One of them is number 3, one of them is number 4 in the game, and it really just comes down to the new additions to Daunting Presence, as well as some other things he got in his kit. But with Daunting Presence, the reason why this is here is because Commander Luke Skywalker, for example, used to be an easy counter to General Grievous before, but between the Magna Guard stealth and target lock now, not being able to counterattack, this kills teams that have battle meditation. For example, from Jedi Knight Revan, battle meditation used to be a problem, but if you have target lock, you can't counterattack. If you're in Commander Luke Skywalker team, you can't counterattack, and there's so much target lock that gets spammed through Separatist and Metalloid Monstrosity. We teased it a little bit ago with T3 and 4. This Zeta is the reason why, as well, that droids can be competitive up against Darth Revan and Darth Maul. And this is a dangerous Zeta as well, because usually in most teams, General Grievous is the last character you have to take out because he throws you off. He makes you take out everyone else before you get to him. It's pretty brilliant, and it's pretty deadly at the same time. And if you can't find a way to pinpoint General Grievous, whether it's through Commander Luke trying to get around taunts and whatnot, or major buff dispel to get rid of the stealth, or Jedi Knight Revan's mark, Grievous is very hard to put down. Metalloid Monstrosity, seriously, one of the most deadly Zetas we have in the game. And then we got the top 4 Zetas here, and we all kind of know these at this point. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. These guys have kind of decimated the meta. They're basically the meta. We have soft counters to them, but this is where the most powerful characters can be found. We see things like Darth Revan, really the most important Zetas if you want to get him going. Ideally, you want to give him all the Zetas, but the ones you really need to at least get this going is Lord of the Sith, so you can't get turn meter removed from them, because turn meter removal was one of the strategies before to try to take on teams, and now you can't do that if they're debuffed. And Conquer as well is going to be important, because you want to make sure you can't just focus fire on Darth Revan getting CLS to get Chewie to help out, or Han Solo, or Jedi Knight Revan calling everyone to assist. This allows Darth Revan to survive as much as possible. Villain is also a great Zeta. I didn't put it in this top list because it's not needed to supercharge the team, but it's a great Zeta nonetheless. Just to mention, it'll be in our honorable mentions. And then Darth Malik, his Zetas are what makes Darth Revan Darth Revan. This is why he is the meta. After he got that extra buff to counter Emperor Palpatine, this character has been the thing, and really the most important Zeta, the #1 Zeta in Galaxy of Heroes, Jaws of Life. This is what kind of makes Darth Malik broken, because just when you think you're about to take him down, he quickly gets a bonus turn and he sucks the living life out of you. And then Gnawing Terror, probably the second best Zeta in the game. When you're critically hitting him, which there's a lot of critical hits, you get Fear, and Fear has all of its other penalties, as we know when you have HK-47, Darth Revan, Bastila Shan, Fallen, and Fear turns into all these nasty debuffs, and it slows down a lot of teams because you're missing out a turn if you have Fear. And to wrap it up, let's show you the 20 honorable mentions so we get our number to top 50 Zetas. Again, there are so many other great Zetas in the game. They might not be top tier, but they're just so important to at least make you aware, because a lot of great Zetas in the May list fell out, but that doesn't mean they're bad Zetas. They're Zetas you should still consider. These top 30 Zetas are really is just what's defining the space for Arena, Grand Arena, Territory Wars, as well as things like the raids and Geonosis, or just territory battles overall. Guys, let me know down below, what are your thoughts? Maybe there's some other Zetas. My gosh, you might be getting to top 100 Zetas. I don't think we're gonna get that far. Top 50 Zetas really encapsulates a lot, so I hope this list was helpful. Keeps your eyes peeled. Try to find a new thing to invest in, guys, because Zetas are one of the most important things in the game. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you did enjoy the video, comment down below on your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.
Party Richter, Party Richter. Down, 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 down. Party Richter, Party Richter. Son of a bitch. Party Richter, Party Richter. Down, down, down.